At this pivotal time in humanity's evolution, we are beginning to remember our organic technology. A technology, when used correctly, can create an experience that the majority of the people the world over want to live. It is time to use this technology consciously for our own benefit and healing, and no longer unconsciously for our own demise. We are divine creators, creating both our own personal experience and our collective experience moment to moment. We invite you to join us as we reawaken this technology through experiment and experience our power to create and manifest. Become part of the 3%.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Collective Imagination for this week, the 9th/10th of June, 2013. Can't believe we're halfway through the year already. It's amazing. We do have, I believe an interesting discussion we're going to have today, and basically throwing around some ideas and spitballing some of the information that's come our way over the last couple of weeks, and touching on, elaborating on what we did touch on yesterday. So for those of you who were a bit confused about my walk-in rant, hopefully we can clear some of that up over the course of the next couple of hours. So welcome to Chris Hales.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to a Collective Imagination show.
Oh, and someone just corrected me. It's July. God, that's even worse.
Yeah, well, we won't. Lisa, we won't talk about the war. The war being the party you had last night.
No.
We won't.
No, we won't.
But look, hi to everybody, and hi to Brian, and also, everybody. Brian's has a grandmother who's close to passing, so our thoughts are all with them. And all our energies to you guys. So, good morning to Brian and Bob.
Good morning. Hello, Lisa. Hello, everyone. Hi, Brian. Everyone in the chat room. I'm not going to say morning, noon, and night. I'm just going to say good day. Now I really sound Australian, right?
You're getting good.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm always impressed with Bashar because he always says good day. He's just got to change it to, just got to shorten that first syllable to gid, and he's one of us.
G'day.
G'day.
Oh, that was good. Hey, Brian.
Hey, guys. I didn't know Bashar was Australian. That's new for me.
He's not.
I know.
But we're working on it.
Thank you for everybody for the love and for the energy. I'm actually sitting here I got Mama Giggles and I got my uncle over here. He's like, you're about to do a radio show? He's looking at me like I'm crazy, and really excited and intrigued at the same time. So he's sitting at the end of the couch, and this is an interesting time. I was telling the rest of the hosts before we got on, I've never actually experienced this process before, and I'm really glad that I came. I got in my car and I drove 8 hours when I found out that she was getting close. I'm just so glad that I did to be able to be with my family and watch it, because when you really know in your heart of hearts and that they're going to a better place and that it's just a part of life, and that being free from pain and suffering is much better than being trapped in the meat suit, then it becomes a much easier process to get through emotionally, because it is such a beautiful, death can be such a beautiful thing, and it's a party on the other side. So fortunately I have a family that all understands that, and they just want to see her free from the pain and suffering too. So I'm just happy to be able to jump on here. I might not be able to talk a whole heck of a lot, but I do appreciate all the prayers and energy and messages that I've received on Facebook. I'm looking at my very grateful mother and an uncle as well. So thanks, guys. I'm glad to be here and celebrate another day of life.
Awesome.
With you all.
Love to everybody.
Wonderful, Brian. Yep. Great stuff. And Brian, she's not really going anywhere. All the folks that have passed out of my life are still hanging around me.
Yeah,
so you just got to allow yourself to be aware of them, and I quite often feel like I'm being harassed by my mother, for instance.
Well,
slapped around.
I did a Reiki session on my aunt just yesterday, and I could already feel the energies of my grandmother working very strongly through her, and it was very clear the energetic the frequencies that were coming through. So yeah, absolutely. There, no one really goes anywhere. It's just it's an adjustment from one state of being to another. So
I actually think of it as another birth.
Another birth, rebirth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're birthing into a different reality. I mean, imagine when you look at how birth is celebrated here, when we welcome a child in it, I think that same celebration and that same welcoming is happening wherever we go after this.
Mm.
Yeah, I want DJ turntables and like disco balls at my memorial. I want dancing. I want people having a good time, and I don't want to be in a casket. I'd rather be in an urn full of ashes. But it's gonna be a party. You're all invited. Everybody listening. Yeah,
burn me up. Scatter me in a nice, friendly ocean somewhere, and the fishes can nibble on me. It's a lovely way to think of what becomes. I'd rather fishes nibbling than worms. It just feels nicer to me. But look, when my mother passed, my entire family was there, including my sons and all my nephews and nieces. All of us were there.
Wow.
And it was really, well, if these things can be great, it was great.
Yeah.
Including, I had cousins there. We had a family friend there. It was, it wasn't a celebration really, but it was really a very moving thing.
Beautiful.
And it was really good for the young folk to experience how peaceful it was.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, I really appreciate it, all you guys, and I'm glad to be here. So.
Indeed.
Okay, on next week's show, we actually will be talking to Alf Ra. And Alf, I can never say his full name, but I'll just call him Alf. And discussing his book on walk-ins. And I've got the book here, and I'm starting to read it now, and it's a really good read. So we'll have an opportunity to go even deeper into it next week, the subject of walk-ins. But we did touch on it yesterday, and there was some confusion in the chat room, it seemed. Not everyone knew what we were talking about. And how what's happening at the moment with walk-ins may be playing a huge part in the way things are going to unfold over the next few weeks and months. So Chris and I have both had quite a bit of information coming from many different sources about the energies of this month and what the rest of this month is going to look like. There's also, actually, I'll put that in the chat room, that link to Galactic Spacebook. For those of you who follow the Mayan calendar, there's a website I just put into the chat room, and it's Galactic Spacebook, for those who aren't in the chat room, .com. No, it's actually quite long, but if you go there, you'll probably find it. And it's called, this is the big one we've been waiting for, the Grand Sextile. Is it sextile or sectile?
Sextile.
Sextile?
Yep. Probably the best way to pronounce it is sextile.
Sextile?
I think.
You're just trying to make sure it doesn't sound kinky. I know.
Well, we try.
We try. We do our best. And also, those of you who are familiar with Bill Ballard, he put up an interesting video. I'm just
posting the two videos most relevant. I've just posted in the chat here, Lisa. You put that in the chat room for them to watch later. They're about an hour each, so you won't be able to listen to them quickly. But he was the first one that kind of swung this information into our view, per se.
Well, it also coincides with a lot of what's been said by the people who I've been interviewing over the last few years. You know, whether it's George Kavasilis, Tolek, Michael and Peter Monk, Michael Monk and Peter Shelton, the Avatar Energy guys.
Yeah, I mixed them up on the show the other day too, actually.
Oh, did you?
Michael Shelton and Peter Monk, yeah.
That's not good.
Sorry, guys.
So, essentially, what we seem to be looking at is an incredibly rare alignment that happens once every, what was it?
About either 30 or 32 billion years.
Billion years.
Billion years. That's what one of our sources is telling us. It's an incredibly rare alignment. It actually forms a structure which is a merkabah structure, ultimately. And the one of the purposes of a merkabah, if it is the actual geometric form is that of a merkabah viewed from above. It's two tetrahedrons, facing in opposite directions, superimposed over one another. And the thing we're trying to work out is how does that affect the outcome of that particular alignment? Is this merkabah simply going to be a massive energy shift, a massive energy uptick for the whole planet, or is it, as Bill Ballard is suggesting, and one of our other sources, Sandy, is suggesting, that there's potential that the Earth will actually transport with its merkabah. And this is the information that's swung into view. Now, there are other people we can discuss this with, and we're going to follow this story all the way through, because obviously there's a big build-up happening, and that'll play out on the planet. We're going to follow this story through until the end of the month and get as much opinion as we can about it. We've got Alf coming on next week, and he'll be able to offer his opinion on what the alignment means. But you've posted the Galactic Spacebook link into the chat. If you scroll down and have a look at the diagrams, first there's an astrological diagram and then just a graphic representation. You're looking down at a merkabah, and that thing is surrounding the planet. And if you follow the work of Drunvalo Melchizedek and many others, one of the uses of a merkabah is for travel. And it's something that humans can form if they have the skills and the knowledge. And apparently, this is the good news, actually. Apparently, the energetics that we, the people on this planet, have managed to advance, they've advanced so far, it's actually gone beyond expectations. And it's the reason why this portal is so significant, that there's so much energetics available on the planet that it could be used for this purpose. So I'll hand it back to Lisa to discuss what it might mean in terms of teleporting, because I don't want this to be coming entirely from me.
Well, I can tell you what it means as far as emotional things, because whenever we get a ramp up, I experience the whole discombobulation around me. Yes. I coined the phrase.
Discombobulation?
The discombobulation. The discombobulation of people. Everyone, in the last few days have been right on edge. I mean, it's almost like a hair trigger. Everyone has just been really, really. In the Northeast, we say they get salty. They're getting really salty, where they just can't put up with certain aspects in their life, certain things, and it's gotten to the point where they can no longer be quiet about it. They can't endure it. People are snapping out. They're becoming discombobulated.
I had people over last night, and one of my girlfriends said that she is just seeing so many what she would call like mainstream 3D people. And mind you, she puts everything we talk about in this show into the ooga booga. That's her word for all of it. It's all ooga booga. Anything she doesn't understand or doesn't agree with, it's just ooga booga. But she is noticing that a lot of her other friends who are very caught up in the matrix, so to speak, are wigging out. They're losing the plot, as she put it. No one seems to have any patience. Everyone seems to be understanding, even those who are asleep, that something big is happening and something really big is about to happen. And they don't know what it is. They've got no concept of what it may be, other than they just don't feel comfortable anymore. So even she's noticing it. But it's essentially, to put this into the elevator speech version, is what we're being told, what I've been told, and what I've looked at and researched over years, is that what we're experiencing is an experiment. And it's an experiment through creating light through darkness, as Alf would say, in being unconscious, in duality. And that we understood that there were ramifications for this. And so the planet was lit, and not just the planet, but the whole creation was put right out here on the edge, on the outskirts of the galaxy, in order not to have too much of an effect on anything else. And there are several sources who say that this world has been moved, and including Andrew Bartzis, who a lot of you are familiar with. He says it's been moved 12 times over the course of the last 52 million years, but it was moved by external forces.
And damaged in that process. But if this takes place, it'll be the Earth moving herself with us involved. Different.
And that what we've done at the moment, where we've gotten to, the experiment was always going to come to an end. It always had an end date. However, how it ended is what was up for debate, basically. And that what we've done now is achieve such a level of light. We've exceeded what was necessary for a positive end to this experiment, and for the planet herself and the rest of this, whatever makes up this world, to go home to its original position, which is somewhere near or much closer to the central sun of our central sun of Alcyon. Now, as far out as all of that sounds, and to Brian's uncle, who may be listening in for the first time, wondering what the hell he's involved in, there are a number of sources for a long time, whether it's people who do channelings or whether it's people who believe they have the ability to read certain records, Akashic or otherwise, all saying, with their own terminology and their own language, the same kind of thing. And I've been lucky enough to talk to quite a few over the last few years. And if you look at what Tolek has said about the way that the light on this planet is going to change, it's going to come from the core. You probably know more about what he said about that, Chris, than I do, because it's come since my initial discussions with him. To George Cavassalis saying the Earth's going to turn into a star, and that he's not the only one.
Well, in fact, Sandy said that the other day when she was sort of starting to pass this information on to us, that the Earth is going to become not a star. This is my interpretation of it. This is my opinion of what she's saying, what Tolek's saying. Is it the planet is going to become star-like, in that will actually become virtually a giant creature of light, emitting light, and that it's the first planet to ever make this transition. And if you look at or listen to some of the interviews with Tolek, where he describes the function of the core changing and the Earth becoming a planet that emits a beautiful blue light, and George Cavassalis' description of the planet turning into a star, and it was pretty much exactly what Sandy described to us, last week when we had this discussion with her about what was going to happen, what potentially could happen at the end of the month. Same kind of thing.
Well, do you remember when there was a video that went around, possibly a year ago now, of the Inuit people way up northern Canada or Alaska or somewhere? Oh, yeah,
that was in 2011, I believe, right?
Yeah, talking about how... Oh, we're just gone echoey. We seem to have changed position in relationship to the sun, and because they only had, say, 1 hour of hunting time in the afternoon when the sun was just right, and now they've got 3 or 4. And how they used to track their what do you call it? Their hunting path with the patterns in the snow, and now they have to go against them.
Well, many tribes have said that the sun is no longer in the right place. That it doesn't rise where it's supposed to, and it doesn't set where it's supposed to.
But is it just our relationship to the sun, or is it our relationship to our position in space generally? Has the whole thing moved?
Well, we're definitely moving to a different portion of the galaxy. And, I mean, there's been lots of, I don't know if you've watched some of the videos, where you see planetary bodies passing by, through some of these observatory scopes, that really shouldn't be there. Like, we're seeing things in our skies that we've never seen before. Now, is that because we're internally changing and we're becoming, or our technology is changing along with that and we're able to detect more? Or are we actually entering into different parts of space? Both could be true. I don't know.
Well, Michael and Peter's view is that our entire reality on this planet that we see, so when we stand and we look around at things on Earth, we're collectively creating that reality in conjunction with the planet. The planet provides the base pattern and we create on her. But that what we see in the sky is also a projection from us. So if we're changing and we're observing that it's changing, then it's all part of the same thing.
The outer is reflecting the inner.
Exactly. So maybe this is just an experience that we'll project. That we'll project a different reality. And okay, you might say, well, the planet's moved. Well, did it? What exactly are we? Because we're in a form of reality. We're like this is if you like, this is the holodeck.
I tell you what, it is definitely changing. I'm only 45 years old, and I could remember a time when, like, I had never seen some of the storms that we've had. Never seen the like of them before. Some of the cloud formations that I've seen, never seen the like of them before. The lightning is different. The weather is different. The feel of everything is different. It's almost as the planet is transforming. If you had someone that was, I would say in 50 years' time, and resurrected someone from back a couple hundred years ago, they wouldn't know they were on the same planet. Because so much is changing. The climates in my area right now, the Forestry Service, and they've had to change the catalogs because certain plants that were not supposed to be able to survive in our climate are popping up everywhere. So we're going through some major changes on this planet.
Well, we've also had airports having to redo their runways because the planet, things have moved.
The North Pole's moving, yeah. The magnetic North Pole is moving, and was moving towards Russia quite rapidly. So obviously they've got to get the settings right, or you'll have more accidents you'll start to have accidents because a lot of aircraft actually land on autopilot these days. And
I don't know if you guys
the autopilot's not right, then it won't work. Yes, Brian.
I don't know if you guys mentioned this as an option. I threw my headset on so I could talk. So there's those that believe that, and me being one of them, that everything outside of ourselves is a representation of what we're feeling within. So even the weather, even the clouds in the sky, the rainstorms that come through, they're all a projection of our consciousness. So when we have vast changes within, which we're undergoing right now on a collective global scale, we're going to have vast changes without. So when we're talking about the planet moving around to various parts in the galaxy, ultimately we and our interior and our consciousness control all of that. It's just that we're becoming more conscious now than we used to be, and that's going to ultimately be what it ends up as, is total conscious manifestation of everything inside and outside of ourselves. But I'd say that the big things in the universe are happening as a result of the big things within us that are occurring.
Yeah, and one of the things I have to keep reminding myself, because it's something I've realized is absolutely critical to what Brian just said, is that it's a co-creation with Gaia. So, and Gaia herself is changing too, absolutely changing. This energetic event at the end of the month is going to probably significantly re-energize all of the grid systems on this planet, because the energetics from it will be so all-encompassing. And now we've all been looking for a point where the Earth grid is re-energized and really starts to affect the consciousness of we that walk on the planet. And if you look at the information from Cobra, for instance, whatever view you happen to have of it, one of the things his main topic of conversation is the old grid being removed and replaced by something new. Well, I strongly suspect, because that process apparently is almost complete, and I strongly suspect at the end of the month what happens will complete that. And that will obviously trigger some big changes inside the planet, which will accelerate ours, and there's this rebalancing that will go on after that.
Now, I'm going to mention this, and we didn't talk about it beforehand, but is anyone else experiencing glitches in time?
Well, that was happening a lot in Morocco.
Well, Lisa just thought it was June, not July.
There you go.
No, we know, we've explained that actually, Brian, but not to the. Lisa had a party last night, folks. So she kind of forgot what month it was.
And maybe it's just technology. Maybe it's just technology glitches, but I've experienced, just strange desynchronization of clocks. Where like one clock will just stop at a certain time, or it will go forward a few minutes, or something like that. Though the other day I was sitting and I was talking with my friend on Skype. It was a video chat, and for a moment, I could see him. He was talking in real time, and then there was a flash of him sitting up, because he was laying down on the floor, of him sitting up with his face right up against the camera, and then all of a sudden, the next frame, he was back laying on the floor again. And I'm like, it almost looked like one of those subliminal flash shots. And I was like, what was that? I've been noticing that a lot. Just these weird glitches.
And according to him, he hadn't moved.
Yeah, he hadn't moved.
Very odd. Well, I'm noticing days where I have very extreme periods of almost euphoria, usually followed by a day where I, basically crack it, which happened last weekend. Saturday was amazing, and Sunday was a bit of a thump. And probably everybody's going through that. But on Saturday, we were out in some very crowded shopping areas, and the folks were being so polite and patient with each other. I don't think they were feeling it as much as probably I was. But, we're talking about the most heavily attended farmers market in the state where I live. It is packed with people. And it was the most cheerful experience I've ever had in that location, because it's usually kind of, a bit of a free-for-all. Everyone was so polite. It was quite extraordinary.
I am getting periods of what I call trippy states.
That was it. Yep.
Trippy
day.
Trippy states of consciousness. And anybody who's tripped, you know what I'm talking about. That spacey, trippy, euphoric feeling. I've been getting that a lot.
Well, the other day, the only thing I can equate that to was on Sunday. I was sitting in the park and suddenly felt like I literally got pulled out of my body, and that I was huge. I was kind of both in and out of my body at the same time, and just I don't know. I seemed to be spread out about 3 feet beyond my body, all the way around, and then these energy rushes going through my body that were really, really intense. And it was almost like I got pulled out so that could happen and then put back in. And that kind of thing, something similar to a greater or lesser degree, has happened probably 4 or 5 times since I've been back in the last 3 weeks. So if you want to say trippy, yeah, it was. Very. And a little bit uncomfortable.
Now, one of the aspects of the article on Galactic Space Book was not just talking about the day at the end of the month where this occurs, which is July 29, but about the 10 days prior to it, because these things don't happen just like, flicking a switch. They actually move into alignment and then move out of alignment. And the author of this is very much, he's actually attached to several kinds of astrology and the main calendar, and so it's an interesting mix of stuff. But one of the things he says about the 10 days, he calls them gap days, and I'm not quite sure what GAP stands for. I think it's an acronym, and I haven't yet researched it to find out what it means to this author. But what he says about it is that these gap days are for projecting into the future and allow us the opportunity to dream our future into being. And each day, starting on July 8th through to the 17th, each day has a different theme, which apparently the main calendar does. But if you look at the themes, they're all about manifestation. I activate in order to equalize is the first day.
I thought it was from the 21st to the 29th. Isn't it that 10-day period?
Well, no, what it's saying is the first, according to this author, okay, because this is just one person's opinion, the first day of the 10 days falls on cosmic moon 12, July 8, 2013, and it actually goes through to the 17th. So, but then, Sandy was saying, she felt that the days that were important were basically the 7 or 8 days preceding the 29th. So you'll get different people's views on the energetics as they view it, depending on whether they work energetically or they work from the astrology data. But if you read through this author's material, what he's saying is on the last day, for instance, the situation, the harmonious aspect represents the possibility of our highest hopes and dreams being able to reclaim spirituality from religion and replace materialism with abundance. Now, does that sound like what we're going through or not?
Yeah.
So it's, I think our intention has to be on what we really want throughout this entire period to literally leverage the alignment that's happening and keep everything moving in the direction we want. Another theme on the 19th was I unify in order to evolve. And on the 20th, I polarize in order to reflect. These are all about manifestation. What I'm saying, folks, is that major opportunity to manifest what it is that we want to manifest for this world and for us.
I agree completely.
Mm.
And I don't think we need to go back and do what we did on this show at the end of the year, because as we talked about timelines collapsing or merging into one timeline, and we've also talked about it seems that our individual intent is becoming a collective intent just naturally. We all seem to be on the same page just as we move forward. It's wow. I mean, this all just ties in with so much of what we've talked about on this show, and on the One People show.
Mm.
As people are starting to really get excited and dream again and express where we want to go next, what we want this new paradigm to look like. We really are holding a collective vision, and it's beautiful. Do we want to? You want to open this up to callers?
Yes, something is pulling me towards something's pulling me. We should take calls.
Do you want to pick? Do you want to pick a particular caller? Is one standing out for you?
Actually, just
go from the first one, but
just before we do that, I just wanted to bring one more theme into it, which is something that's been put forward by a variety of people, including Andrew Bartzis, because he puts it forward particularly strongly, is the emergence of shared dream time and soul family reunion coming forward.
Well, Bob and Brian and I have all experienced that.
You've already experienced that, and Julian experienced that in Mount Shasta very clearly. And the manifestation potential of soul family reunion is orders of magnitude higher than simply just people connecting with the same intent. When you have the soul connection, it's amplified enormously. But throughout the population, a shared dream time. I had a very vivid dream of being in a huge crowd of people last night. Extremely vivid dream. And I sort of, when we were walking the dogs, I was thinking, is this the beginning of shared dream time? Because as the author of this article says, this is time to dream our future.
Well, actually, also, Bob, before we take a call, people have just asked for the walk-in explanation. Now, I'm basing what I'm about to share with you on Alpha Ra's information because that is what resonates with me the most when it comes to walk-ins. He says that the walk-in process up until now has been one of through pain and suffering. When somebody is either that in that much emotional pain they just want out, or physical pain through accident or illness, that a walk-in can occur. Now, what he says is that it's not literally one soul leaving and another soul coming in, but it's the greater aspect of you. What's another way of putting that? A higher, lighter dimensional aspect of you that comes in. And the other... Again, the information that's come from about 4 different sources, unconnected, is that we've gone through just recently and potentially continuing to go through a process where because this planet has exceeded its light quotient and because those who are holding a low vibration are not supported anymore, that many of them are going through the walk-in process. So to put that in simple speak, it means those that we were calling the Cabal and the Illuminati and the powers that were, and our new phrase for them, our partners in contrast, who are steadfastly holding on to that negative low vibration, many of them are going through this walk-in process. It's either that or leave. It's either that or transition. And what is that? That opens the conversation up to how this sort of affects us in what we're doing with the One People movement, for a lack of a better word, over the coming months, because it means those in the highest levels of the banking, trade and finance and religion and all of the other aspects of the hierarchy are going through these changes. And the evidence for it is seeing them almost self-destruct in a way. They're coming in and exposing themselves, and sometimes literally, and doing the energetic, sort of their energetic accounting is coming up. Basically,
they're going into a process of self-reconciliation.
Yeah, that's a good term, self-reconciliation. And I'm just trying to catch up with some of the questions in the chat room about it.
It does coincide with biblical prophecy, which talks about that there will come a time where you will look for the evil one and he simply won't be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love the way you pull these Bible prophecies out. That it just
there was a reason why you did all that Bible study, Bob. That's so you could pull it into view and into relevance now, which is really great. But the effect of the walk-ins throughout the system will be kind of, I think, subtle at first, and then it'll start to cascade, because I think there'll be a whole variety of things that will shift. Now, one of them is obviously people doing stupid things. Never underestimate the ability of people to do stupid things, like the priest who called the ordinary Italian police, I think it was a cardinal at the Vatican, to report a stolen painting, and ends up in jail because the paintings that were left hanging on his walls were also stolen, and he shouldn't have had them. I believe is basically what went on. Why didn't he call the Vatican police? They deal with that sort of stuff for the Vatican and always have done, but he didn't do that. So why did he do it? And other parts of the Catholic Church have been caught doing variously stupid things, some of them apparently on camera. And, why would they do those things in public where they can be filmed on camera? It's just stupid. So there's the Three Stooges aspect, and then there's the more subtle things, the policy shifts that will happen inside the banking industry, the political system, inside the military, because these people are literally getting a soul upgrade. Their soul mass is being clicked up to a much higher level. They're seeing things from a greater perspective and understanding that the game is up, and that their role may have been to act as part of the control system, but in that capacity they have an ability to also toggle the system from being, or begin the shift of the system from being one of control to one of, literally freedom and abundance. But it's within their power to actually instigate that shift. And one of the ways that could play out is by acquiescing, by letting the people claim their value through the process that Heather is about to put forward. That's one example. Another is that the Swiss Indo group, who are still in the background doing things, but have been largely blocked by elements in the banking and political systems, the resistance to what they're doing may drop. Okay. Now, the timing of these, we don't know. The degree to which these things happen, we don't know yet. But I think we'll start to see evidence of same, as Lisa said. It'll start popping up in events moving forward in directions, I hope, faster, particularly in the banking industry. So my intent is set on the banking industry when we go to them with this reclamation. What did you call it, Bob, yesterday? A reclamation of value?
Yes.
Yes, because that's literally what it is. We're reclaiming our value from the old system. We go to them with a reclamation of value, or the DOVE documents, as I like to call them, the Declaration of Value or Deposit of Value, that they will basically sit back and say, okay, it's time, because it's going to reform the banking system for sure. There'll be massive reformation in that area, and that process will be facilitated by this walk-in process.
Mm-hmm. That
appears to be how this final scene is being set in our favour, which I think is wonderful, because it all comes back to us doing it, us reclaiming our value individually, and I think that's really, really important to do. That there is a strong movement from the ground up. Now, we need the top-down one too, but the one from the ground up is the one that really empowers us to stand as individuals of free will.
All right, well, let's see what our callers have to say about all this.
Mm.
So we've got area code 646.
Hi.
Hi.
It's Rick from Connecticut. How have y'all been? Wow.
We've been really, really well.
I can't believe I'm first in the queue. It's you guys have gotten pretty popular over the last few months.
We don't necessarily get to all the callers, unfortunately, but
I'm gonna keep it nice and on target. And first of all, I wanted to just say, Chris, wow, that was really great what you just said, and talk about the contrast of, especially for us who are fighting the good fight, if you will, for lack of a better term. If there are walk-ins, if there are people that are suddenly shifting their consciousness right in front of us, what a way for the rest of us to really let go of whatever attachments we have, let go of whatever distrust we have in the other. It's really a remarkable exercise for community building where we are tasked to let go. Really brilliant. I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, Rick, one of my favourite sayings at the moment is we're all on the same side. And actually that includes our partners in contrast. You know, once we're on the other side of this particular series of events, we will all be on the same side. There won't be partners in contrast. There will just be us.
Well, I'm all with you. I like that a lot, especially lately. I've been feeling what you guys were describing in the early part of the call, just really strange dreams. I never have nightmares, and I actually had a dream that I saw and felt. I could actually feel it in my dream, a nuclear blast. And that's just, having Terminator-type dreams, that's not my style. But I woke up from it, and I was just fascinated. I wasn't frightened, but I was thinking, why is this dream coming into my consciousness? And I just feel like, I saw something the other day that really kind of ties in with this really quickly. Deepak Chopra was talking about 2 signs of reaching a state of enlightenment, and there were just 2, and one of them was that you don't worry, and the other one is that you notice coincidences. And both things are really starting to show up as a matter of course in my life, and I can tell you, prior to any of the banking stuff being rehabilitated and everything, I'm feeling a much greater sense of freedom ramping up to this sea change in our culture, in our species, if you will. So just letting go, it seems to be the theme of my life, and I'm actually seeing it with other people. They're just letting go of attachments to stuff, to expectations, to ways of being that they were really holding very strongly to. They're just letting go, and I think that's perhaps a part of it. Kind of like when you're in labor, you just kind of have to let go. And I mean, I've never been in labor. At least I might want to talk about this. I don't know, but just go with it. What do you do?
Yeah, it's not something you want to fight against. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't even like having a paper cut. Okay.
That's why the women have the babies.
Absolutely, and God bless you. But anyway, you guys are just doing such a remarkable job. I'm so encouraged. I don't watch TV. I find the stuff on I mine for information now on the internet, and your programs are always a part of that. And again, if I would have been in your neighborhood the other night, I would have brought the wine. That's so. So.
Oh, I know.
I'll let you get on to some other callers, and thank you very much for doing what you're doing. I think it's amazing.
Well, thank you for coming along for the ride with us.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't be much fun if it was just 3 of us, or the 4 of us.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. Look, before I forget...
Yeah,
cheers, mate. Cheers. Before I forget, we actually had a one-people meeting here in Melbourne last night. Really great night, and I really want to thank everybody who came along. I got a lot of encouragement, which was really good, because it's a bit of a roller coaster ride what everybody's going through, and it's amplified for us to a degree because the shows come up and we still get together half an hour beforehand and brainstorm it. A little bit of pressure there, but really amazing crew here in Melbourne. So many people on that page, and we had such great discussions about everything, including what we're talking about today. And I had a really great discussion with Helen, who was on the show yesterday. She's got Plan B in action. She's going on to a new phase. She's going to be playing with the bank managers and the CEO in the next week in a bank, and working out best ways to actually start the conversation with those guys. But look, thanks to everybody that came. I won't name individuals because you're all fantastic and I love you all, except I will name one, Harry. It was great to see Harry. Last time I met Harry, he came to his first meeting last time. He's living in his car under a bridge. He'd given up his job because he'd decided he wanted to follow his passion and start communities based around farming technology. So he's hooked up with John Van Newton, who's running a has plans for a very large agricultural project in this country, huge hemp farming and biochar thing, and he's really found a group of people who are exactly where he wants to be. So he's a very happy camper, and it was great to see him a second time. And also one more shout out to Stefan, who discovered the One People meetings via a call he made to the Walking in Energy show. And he came along, and it was great to see him too. But all the other ladies and gentlemen who were there and thanked me for the work we do, I thank you for supporting us in the work that we do. All of you.
Thank you.
Okay, area code 831.
Hello, greetings.
Hello.
This is Lucklight.
Oh, hey, Lucklight.
Hi.
Hi.
Very interesting discussion.
Yes, and it can go down many, many different rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And it's fun to actually contemplate.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that I feel like, from my experience along lines of what we're discussing today, it's as natural as breathing. You know, it's not going to be like a foreign experience to us. It's going to be very natural. It's going to be very, like, expected, but on a subconscious level, you know?
You know what? I agree with you there. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because, like, I had this experience once. It was, like, I don't know, a decade ago or something. And I was talking with this guy. We were talking about, you know, some spiritual topics. And for a moment there, I realized internally that there was nothing I could share with this guy to help him out. You know, he was developed enough that I couldn't help him. And in that brief moment, I, like, felt Guru emerge within me. And I became very comfortable and very confident. And he looked right at me and says, "Why are you sitting like Guru?" You know? And I kind of shook it off a little. But for a moment there, yeah, I felt it. And it's within all of us. It's just sleeping, you know? It's just subconscious.
And I do believe we all have our own trigger points.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah, it's all naturally developing.
Yes.
So we're all participating.
Totally in agreement with you there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're all participating in an advanced operation and process, and as we go, we unfold ourselves to larger aspects of it.
Yeah, I kind of surrendered to the idea a few years back that I would know what I needed to know when I needed to know it.
Ah, yes.
And I surrendered a long time before that to I don't know what I don't know. But just not giving up the idea of having to figure it all out beforehand. And it's almost like the way we do these shows. We don't have a plan as such, but literally within 20 to 30 minutes before the show, we just spitball some ideas and we get a feeling for what we need to talk about. And that's exactly what happened, 15 minutes before the show.
Yeah, it's the willingness to embrace that unknown, you know.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's also recognizing the coincidences of information that swings into view, as has come to be termed. If if the universe puts something in front of you, paying attention to it, and it's actually something you have to consciously recognize and learn to do, because it's not something that we're taught to do. It's one of the many things we're never taught to do is to act on coincidence.
The universe. The universe is assisting with that and giving people the experience of almost being a third person in their own experience, where you're kind of watching it, you're observing what's happening almost like alongside of yourself or above yourself or from a different perspective. And once you become the observer, you start to see things that you hadn't noticed before. And you listen to a lot of the nuances and a lot of the, like I was saying in the girls' room, that I feel like the witches of Eastwick sometimes, because that bird call that just happened at a particular time, or the phone ringing, or someone saying a certain word at a particular time may not have any meaning to a lot of people around me, but to me has profound meaning, because it's a synchronicity, and I recognize it. These little, and you'll start to realize that you're in a constant dialogue. You're in a constant feedback loop, that the universe is constantly feeding back to you whatever it is, impetus that you're giving off, energetically. It's instantly responding, and you can, when you start to pay attention to it, it happens more. And it happens more profoundly.
How cool is that?
It's amazing.
The ultimate feedback loop.
Yep.
Yeah, it's something we talk about coincidences, but Bob, you're right. We're actually talking about synchronicity. And they're not quite interchangeable. There's a difference in the, if you like, the consciousness of the action. If you recognize synchronicity, you're acknowledging there's a process going on, whereas coincidence sounds like it's just a one-off event. Oh, it was a coincidence. Or was it synchronicity? Am I just experiencing synchronicity and not a series of coincidences? So what I'm really enjoying actually is how our language is changing and evolving as we learn to, shall we say, process all of the information and sort it into something that makes sense to us and we can pull into our daily lives and use. Even things like the term partners in contrast, that I worked out that originally came from Sandy and the Mama Bears. They actually pointed that out to me, and they also pointed it out to Julian at the same time, and we kind of both started using it. But I think that's a fantastic evolution of language. And the same thing with Heather's language, that the language she used to write the UCC filings, and then the later stuff that's in even more absolute terms. The language changes the way that we think and the degree to which we can communicate effectively. So I'm loving it. It's really, really good. And there's more to come too. And
the way that we think changes language.
Well, the way that we think it changes the way we manifest. Because manifestation begins with thought and will, and it can be expressed. It can be expressed very much vocally, because there's a lot of power, and the power of the voice is huge, and all of the potential that we've got is becoming more and more focused as we're learning about these processes and learning the language of these processes. And the ability to manifest, manifest. The idea of people manifesting things was completely new to me a couple of years back. Hadn't a clue. And because it's something we're never educated in, we have to learn about it, about the language, about what it means, how it's done, why it's done, why it was hidden from us, why it's being revealed now. It's just an absolute delight to be going through this all with you guys, frankly.
Thanks, Chris. Nice to have you too.
Ta.
Okay, was there anything else, Luck-like?
Let's see, what else? Oh, yes. The contrast between abundance and scarcity. I was reading a book recently. The main, or like an aspect of it, the difference is in a scarce system, there is control. In an abundant system, it's out of control. That's all.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Abundant.
Yeah.
Well, I actually don't think there is such a thing as scarcity. That's just a mindset.
Exactly. An illusion for our minds.
An illusion. Yes.
Yeah, and as my my kung fu instructor always says to me, embrace the chaos. There's chaos. We're presented. This is where our language gets twisted, folks. It's a really simple thing they do. They've associated chaos with acts of violence. But that's just one of the whole spectrum of things which could represent chaos. Chaos could be like a schoolyard full of children having the best time of their lives. I'd rather be in that one, in that version of it.
Yeah, and Chris, like the heart consciousness, to the rational mind, heart consciousness is very random and out of control. But on a larger scale, it's precise. There's precision involved in, acting through our feeling, truly connecting and being aware, not denying our feelings. So.
Yeah, well, the process, that process is really an amazing, has an amazing way of filtering out things that don't matter and focusing you on exactly the thing that does, because it's the one that resonates with you and you really feel it in the heart. That's a really, really great experience to be brought to a point where you can actually do that, and we are all being brought to that point quickly. So I love. What was the phrase you used? That chaos, that abundance was out of control.
Yes.
Yeah, really like that.
Oh, good.
That's good.
And in terms
Thank you, Lockhart.
Yes, thank you very much. Love and light.
Oh, did you want to say no? Did you want to say something else?
Oh, just that in relation to dream time emerging, right? Our dreams become more real, and our waking state becomes more dreamlike. And in the way that we view our nighttime dreams as being less real, at one point we'll view our waking state as being less real. So
I half expect, one of these days to wake up with an item from my dreams.
Uh-huh.
And I know it's going to happen. Like, whether it be like a rose or just some item from my dreams, sooner or later it's going to show up in my waking reality.
I sometimes think maybe I'm going to wake up and go, wow, I just had this dream that I was this chick called Lisa Harrison and I had a radio show and wow, that was, what an intense, vivid dream.
Incredible. Look, I keep thinking back to the first time I really heard this concept, or it really caught my attention, was the conversation with Thomas Hughes that we had, where the Sasquatch said precisely what Lucklight just said to us. The slightly different terminology, but what they basically said to him, what if you knew that soon your dreams were going to become reality and your reality is going to be like a dream. And that was only a matter of months ago. So, but everyone's
I know for me that the lucid dreaming business that started for me at the beginning of this year when I connected with everyone, there is when I wake up, everything is with me, and I am surprised, like you, Bob, that I'm not actually holding what I was holding in my dream. It's so real. And you can't tell me it wasn't an experience, that I wasn't actually there doing it. I was. Whatever I was doing in those moments was as real to me as anything else. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lucklight.
Thank you. Take care.
Great contributions to the conversation. Thank you. Okay, we have area code 347. Hello, area code 347. Okay, we will come back to you. Area code 336.
Hello.
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 Hey, it's Randy.
I knew it was Randy.
You did. I was just walking around. Huh?
I said, how are you, darling?
I'm doing great. I hope you are.
Mhm.
I was just walking around my new home.
Oh, this wouldn't be the 5-acre property we were talking about yesterday, would it?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Oh, my God. Well done.
Brilliant.
Yes.
What did you do? What happened?
Well, it's it's amazing how things come into play when you have the intent, as Bob said. And I was told this place was mine regardless. And it's happening. It's amazing. It's absolutely. Can you feel the energy?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I have to say.
You sound so much more peaceful.
Yeah, I'm standing at my home.
Oh,
And,
man, congratulations. What they have
That is awesome.
in the twinkling of an eye. There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly, in
Yep.
the twinkling of an eye. I mean, if you can't ask anything from the universe any better. I mean,
Wow.
I'm so
Thank
happy
you
to be
for calling
sharing
and letting
this
us
with
know.
you guys.
That's just brilliant.
Yeah.
So what
I was
happened?
told-
You had a conversation? You went and had a conversation with the owner?
The owner called me today and he said, whatever it takes to get you into this home, we're going to do it because it's your home. You understand me? I said, yes, sir.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Did he listen to the show?
Wow.
What?
I said, did he listen to the show?
Repeat that again, Bob.
Did the owner, I said, was the owner listening to the show?
No,
Last
he has
night.
no idea. No, he has no idea. This is strictly from an energetic. It's just so powerful. I mean, I don't know what to say. I really don't.
Wow.
I am just so happy for you, Randy.
Yep.
And
Well, I think everybody that was listening to the show yesterday was 199% with you, Randy. And wow, how quickly did that come
I felt
out?
that. Yeah, I felt that. And
Yeah.
They're with you again now. All the comments in the chat room now, they're blown away by what you've done.
Yeah, that's magnificent.
It really is. I mean, it's a beyond my imagination. It really is.
Well, thank you, Randy, for ringing in and letting us know. That's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being there for me. I appreciate you guys really more than I can say.
And everybody can feel you right now. They really can.
I just there's so much energy pouring out from me right now.
Well, we can feel it.
I love
Thank you,
it,
sweetie.
and I'm glad to share it with you.
Well, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, congratulations, Randy. That's
That
fantastic.
is an amazing example.
How cool is that?
That is awesome.
It doesn't get any cooler than that, actually.
Hey, I missed that part of yesterday's show. I'm just kind of unmuting for a second. What happened? What did Randy call in about yesterday? For anybody that's just hearing it for the first time that wasn't tuned in yesterday.
Yep.
Well, he has found it's a property that he drives past every day. He's always loved it and wanted to own it. It's now for sale, and he was asking whether or not he should go to the bank to get your standard mortgage, or should he wait until these documents are out. And we had a conversation around, why don't you just speak to the owner and come up with, a value exchange. The owner wants Randy to actually work for him. So, have a conversation. And we just played with ideas of how they could do an exchange. And he's called in today, and it's his new home. And the guy rang him. The guy rang him. That's the beautiful thing, too.
Oh, my gosh.
And Bob talked to him a lot about just setting the intent and that or something better.
Yeah, and losing attachment to exactly what the arrangement was part of it.
And he had no money. He had no money for a deposit. He had no money for anything.
Yeah,
wow.
no money. So now he's standing in it, talking to us.
You can't say the shit don't work.
No.
That's wild. Congratulations, Randy. I know you're still listening. That's absolutely fascinating. Amazing. Oh, my God. Incredible.
It is incredible. Awesome. I love it. Awesome.
Wow. Good stuff.
All right. We will try. I'll go back to area code 347. See if you're there. 347? Nope. Okay. Moving on to area code 480. 480? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Patty Mack.
Hey, Patty.
How are you?
Hey, Patty.
We're really well.
I wanted to just pop in really quickly because I have been listening to Andrew a bunch. And one thing he said, because the energy on the call tonight is so different than it was back in January and February and March when people were worried about their money. And now it's not even the focus anymore. It's the focus now is the energy. And the one thing that Andrew says is, you know, right now it's very important that the people need to claim their power. And you're just a living example, and all the people that have been on the call, that's exactly what we're doing. We're claiming our power and knowing who we truly be. And that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, what did happen was, I mean, this particular show, The Collective Imagination's been running for quite some time, and it's always been about the energy. But when we started the One People show, there was a huge audience that came to that were all about, you know, looking for solutions, and
right.
The people who really resonated with what the work that the One People's Public Trust had done. But that audience blended into the collective. They started following the Collective Imagination as well. So it
right.
was influencing this show to some degree. And we've been able to hopefully separate them again over the last few weeks and months and put the focus more on the energy of this with this show again. And what we've all noticed is some of those people, you know, back in January, February, who were the Show Me the Money crowd, as we call them, have been joining in on this show, and they've had such a beautiful shift.
Yes.
There's just less and less of that every week, you know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's really big right now because as we're waiting and pausing right now as we wait, it's the most beautiful time because I think it's a settling. I almost feel like everything's just settling into place, and it's just a time of love. You know, the walk-ins might be coming.
For all the people who still want us to show you the money, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
where it is. That's where it is.
If we could see that for ourselves, if we could really say the statement, I am power, absent limits every day, and believe it, that's it. We did it. And I feel the energy tonight, it feels so strong and so stable. I think that's the word. It's a stable belief in our humanity, I think, is where we're at. And it's just coming from this show, I think, and the people who are talking. But we need to keep it going because even when the money comes, there's still going to be well, now what do I do? And the creating of, like Randy did, he created he created his own reality, and people still don't understand that, and the money is not going to fix that. We have to do it internally, so the calls have to keep going so that people can understand. Like Abraham Hicks says, it's the dreaming and the planning and the building it in your mind that's the beauty and the fun and the joy. It's not always the having it, it's the planning of it.
And the fun of actually turning it into something real. Patty,
yes.
Look, Lisa's absolutely correct that the collective imagination theme actually was shifted because there's so much to talk about in and around the One People movement that the 2 hours on the Wednesday wasn't enough, and it's one of the reasons why we're starting up a show on Mondays called The Repurposing, and it will probably that's a very big subject that we're approaching on Mondays, and it will actually also allow collective imagination just to focus on the energetics, because that'll give us 4 hours a week to have the conversations we need to have without encroaching on the time in this show, and I think this show is absolutely vital because the energetics are absolutely important. Reclaiming our will is the ending to me, because the whole experiment we're in began by us giving up progressively our free will, and at the other end of it, we have to claim it back as individuals. And even the act of going to the bank, it's not about the money in the end. It's about reclaiming our free will, and essentially standing as sovereign beings, if I may railroad the old system term. And so hopefully, exactly, and hopefully the more I sort of think about what we're going to do with the show, which is called the repurposing, the more I realise the scope is enormous. There's really nothing we won't be discussing over a period of time on that show, and on the One People show, that'll just be a follow-on. So they'll kind of fill in that extra bit of time we need to have these discussions properly.
So just for those who didn't hear the update yesterday, there is a new show coming, being hosted by Chris and Scott Bartle, and it's called The Repurposing. It'll be on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific, is that right?
Mm.
In the US?
Same time as these two shows, just a day earlier.
Okay, and Monday morning, 10 a.m. for those in Australia.
Those in Australia. And look, we are, I haven't discussed this with Scott, but
That's 5 Pacific, by the way.
Oh, is it?
5 p.m. Pacific.
8
okay,
Eastern.
Sorry. Oh,
Eastern. Yep. And we've been thinking about a female host. We have to move a female voice, the divine feminine, into the conversation. So we'll have to think about that. Because I really like the conversations we have here, because Lisa's so strong in them. And
I'm on my own these days, though.
It's all what it's about now. It's all about love and energy and being a creator of your own reality, and that's the joy. This is the best of the best. Is right now is what's happening energetically on our planet, and that's just the celebration. You can hear it tonight. It's powerful. So it's fun. Thank you for everything you all have done.
Oh, thank you, Patty.
Thanks, Patty.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we have the flow.
Well, now.
We have the flow.
How are we then?
We are very, very good.
Peace and love and cheese and crackers. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say,
Flo,
I love you guys.
Well.
Oh, I miss you guys. I really have on a hiatus, as you will, on these shows. I didn't listen to last night's show. I haven't listened a couple of weeks. I've, been more doing and being in the things that I've had to do in my personal life and the people around me. I'm able to do things that the people around me aren't able to see, because the things that I do are done behind, those corporate closed doors and these service entities that they call, these government agencies and whatnot. So I can, only go so far as, letting you guys know that I'm gaining success. I'm more foothold than I ever have in my own personal experience. The energies are manifesting in my life personally. But I just want to say that it's hard for me to relay that to the people around me. And it's a struggle. I call it that. And the boy doesn't struggle, the struggle doesn't stop. So it's not a struggle to him, it's life. You understand me? And if he can't allow that boy to see that this struggle is not what his life is supposed to be like, he will never be able to transcend that. All he'll do is allow it and continue to let this low frequency to take him over. You understand me? So I personally understand these energetics, and I see how they can take over. And I want to have a voice for those people who can't speak for themselves. I've been watching all sorts of things about superheroes and people with normal abilities. I feel like I'm super. I'm super. I am focused when I'm super. This is my other, how you say, entity within me. These many manifestations that all we call self. I am flow. I am also focused. You understand me? And now I'm focusing on the intention of our people to have a better life. You know, when they don't see a possibility in front of them, there's no intention for them to have a better life. Their intention becomes survival. It's only survival. There's no manifestation of abundance because they only want enough to survive. So that's where their intentions go. You see me, and some people aren't like. I mean, I was offline because I wasn't able to pay a bill. You see, and that's me being able to have some sort of, representation, and then it just goes all off the meat rack. You see, I start to have to explain to people that, if we can, excuse me if I'm rambling, but if we can just figure out a way to focus more on rising up those people around us, that can see it. I'm sorry if I sound like, one of those contrast partners that you call, and I'm glad to be that devil's advocate for the night, because the energy on this show is definitely love and light, and I feel the energy. I love the energy, but and I wasn't listening to the other shows, so maybe I should be on a different show speaking on this. So I'm just here to voice my opinion for tonight.
First of all, Flo, you never have to apologize for any of what you just said. We love you. And, you got a very distinct and awesome flavor of personality to this show, and we appreciate you. We're grateful to you because of that. But one thing that, I think everybody needs to remember is, you say raising the vibration of others around us. And I think we've all fallen into... in our course, on our own course and journey of awakening, we've all fallen into the pit of trying to either wake up, or you want to call it awaken, or you want to call it raise the vibration of those around you. It's all different things of saying the exact same thing, and we do that by embodying light, by being that which we wish to see in other people, and I think that there's so many of us that get caught in the trap of trying to explain things and help and base our success based on the level of understanding or the level of resonance to which those that are listening understand what it is that we're saying, and we're coming into a time where that's no longer the case. We're coming into a time where all we need to do and be is a bright light for those around us to feel without words a lot of the time. Words, I've found, I'm here with my grandmother, who's passing on, and I can sit there and hold her hand. I don't need to say anything to her. I just have to feel. And I know she feels it, because I know if I try to talk, she won't understand me. And that's just a representation of relationships with anybody around us. Be that light. Stand strong and powerful and empowered in that light that you wish to bring to the world. And other people, doesn't matter whether they understand you, whether they believe you, whether they think you are absolutely nuts. None of that matters when you can stand so strong in your own truth that you remain unwavered by their ability to perceive or understand that to which you are trying to explain. And you are that, Flo. You are
true enough.
And you know what, Flo? As you go about, going through this, because empathy is a bitch sometimes, because you can feel the pain of others, especially when they're people who are close to you, people who are in your circle, people who that you see, you can, you see them suffering, and you want to alleviate it, you want to help. But a lot of times, when people are in like what you called survival mode, they don't even have time. Picking up a loaf of bread on the way home from work is a project. You know, maybe it'll get done because they're so wrapped up and they're so busy and so focused on just trying to make ends meet that little divergence is sometimes too much time. And when they're in that mode, it's very hard to get them to see. But you understand, it works almost like this. If you've ever been around small children when they're playing, okay? And when small children are playing, sometimes they get carried away. And maybe one of them is going to fall. Now, you know that the fall is not fatal. You know, maybe they're going to get a little bump or a bruise, right? But the child will look around and look for your reaction. And when you go, oh my God, and then all of a sudden the buckets of tears will start coming because you got scared, because you wavered, because you showed that oh, there must be something wrong if it's upsetting her or if it's upsetting him. And then all of a sudden they get upset. But if you look and you're like, oh, look at that. You know, and you don't get too upset, but you don't give off the feeling that you don't care. But you you give them that assurance. You give them that confidence. They borrow it, if you will, from you in those moments. So, you know, you become the example. They'll come to you and they'll talk to you but when you don't react in that panic way, like, oh my God, oh really, you know, and you show them that, oh well, okay, it's gonna be all right, and you reassure them, you know, and you can and a lot of times you can tell them a similar story how you got through it, and just say, you know, I've already been through it, it's gonna be fine, trust me. And then when you have that kind of confidence and they see it, you can't fake it. When they see it in you, right then they're like, oh well, maybe, because they're looking for some sort of hope. You know, they're looking for some sort of relief, and sometimes it's just that example that you become a rock for them, that they can stabilize themselves.
Not a crutch, but a rock.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, different.
Focus. I just want to put one more perspective to you. If you skip forward 20 years and imagine the lives of the people that you're working with at the moment, and the fact that they will look back to the time before the shift occurred, before the big shift occurred, to this guy named Flo, who was telling them, you know, amazing things that they just couldn't believe about, you know, what was really going on and what was going to happen and how much he helped them. But they didn't really realize it. Okay? And you know, you're paying it forward for real. A lot of people talk about paying it forward and they think of giving money away. But you're paying it forward with your energy, which will come back to you a millionfold. But not yet, because you're right at the coalface of where the real suffering is on the streets of this planet. And thank you.
Well, thank you guys, and I just want to say I agree with everything that you guys are saying. That's really what the flow is. You know, the calmness, that peace and tranquility. I'm sorry. The focus is the calmness, the peace and tranquility that, you know, balances the flow's high energy and the excitement that can come from all of the things that he's passionate about. So here I am. You know, I'm an analyzation actor for all the things that I do and be. So I am all of this that you guys are talking about. I appreciate that you guys can recognize that, and that's more or less where I'm going with the things that I'm doing. I can people around me. You know, all I need is a chance for them to send me their information. You see, and if the more that I can, be a part of their doings and beings, higher vibrations will rise, and the faster these things will happen. And it's not so much as just teaching them and telling them things. They're teaching me as I go along. We have a better relationship, and what happens is that the fact that I'm such a nice guy, and I found this out a long time ago, dealing with females, that I have to be this guy in contrast to all the assholes that there are in the world. So I learned that before high school. Even though I did become an asshole at one point, being more of a manipulator and things like that, but I figured those things out, a long time ago, and I'm able to transcend these ideas that get, how you say, transmitted to us, that we think that they are. My ex-girlfriend's daughter, she said to her mom, she goes, "Mom, what are hormones?" Her mom froze. She started to try to say some stuff like, I don't know, it's like this stuff that says, okay, so it's a chemical, because she's a nurse, right? So she's really gonna try to explain it, but she didn't even get it out. The little girl said, "Well, so is it like a hormone that makes you listen to the hormones of your brain?" And the mom was flabbergasted. She said, "That's exactly what it is. Like, kids know, and the ones that aren't tainted by the society around us, the ways that we were as children, as our parents have then instilled them upon us like that, we were able to transcend that and not put those upon our children these days. I don't have any kids myself, but the young kids around me, with the friends that I have, they do a good job. They do a really good job as to not, I do believe in, certain types of discipline and punishment, but the extent that it's to be understood. It's not just something that you do off of the whim of doing it. It's saying, this is what I'm going to do to stop you from, or to get you to do this. It's like the punishment more or less has to the crime, but the punishment must be understood for the crime. It's like, the little kid who gets his hand slapped reaching out toward the metal radiator. He's like, "Why did you slap me?" He doesn't understand that. But if you just move his hand away and say "hot," enough times where he reaches forward and says, "Oh, hot," "oh, hot," and you
sometimes
move your hand
got to
back
let
and
it touch it,
show
though,
them.
Della.
But then there goes those situations, you see, and I'm sitting here like, okay, yeah, a lot of the people around us need these kind of situations to happen to them. I can't be so much involved with everyone around because it's their own awakening process that I want to manipulate, or I want them to do this because I feel like it, and
there's a balance you get to between your desire to wake people up and your ability to recognize how far you can take that process when it becomes, you trying to do something for you rather than to just give them that little bit of information they might need at that time. But Flo, look, thanks so much for calling in. Thank you for just hanging in there. It's we feel.
One more thing, Flo. Yep. Never underestimate the power of a good party.
Well, hey guys, right now, if I had enough money right now, I have this space that I've been living in this guy's apartment who did this thing to this girl, and ACS wouldn't let him come back to his apartment until Friday. So I'm here like all day and all night, all by myself with AC. You know what I mean? If anybody wants to come through and hang out with me and party, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
I'm really serious when I say this. I'm really, really serious. Sometimes you just need to provide that space because, like I said, sometimes going to pick up a bag of bread on the way home could be a project. But if you can provide just a little bit of space where they can forget all of their stress, a place where they can just relax. That doesn't have to be a party.
Timeout is what it is.
Yeah,
timeout.
You can create a timeout space.
Right
a lot of times,
I understand.
They will solve their own problems in a matter of moments. They just, it's been so long since I've ever had a time to relax like this. I've been working too hard. I really need to take more time, and they'll figure it out. They just needed that space.
Maybe we need to start flash mob parties. Just name the time and place. Let everybody rock.
Just put it back out there.
We love you. We love you, man.
I appreciate you guys. Just to put it back out there, I still have my donations open wide. If anybody wants to help out by PayPal, FlowFocus Gmail. You guys should know how to spell it by now. Spell it wrong, you got it right. Spell it right, you got it wrong. Thanks a lot for being here.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Flo.
Bye, Flo.
Oh, wow. The Flo. Area code 210.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What's your name?
Cullen.
Owen?
Cullen. Cullen.
Cullen.
How's it
going? Oh, Cullen.
I'm glad I got through. I'm actually looking at the sun right now. It's sunset. I've been seeing some really cool stuff. I wanted to call in. Y'all were talking about the GAPs. In other words, it's actually an acronym for Galactic Activation Portal.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you. Makes perfect sense. Yes. Very good.
If y'all want to check it out, there's an awesome app you can download. It's called, what's it called? Kin 3D. And it includes the Mayan 13 moon calendar as well as the Zolkeen calendar. It's really cool.
So Kin as in K-I-N?
Sorry?
Kin as in K-I-N?
Yes, K-I-N. Kin 3D.
Great.
And it's really cool, yeah. On the 7th was the start of Galactic Activation Portal days. It goes on until the 17th, so it's a 10-day in a row. And it's pretty intense. I mean, I'm sure y'all can probably feel the energy as well. I've been working with that for quite a while since I found out, what they actually are and how they work. And you can, it shows your birthday and everything, and it shows your energetic signature for your exact birthday. And it's pretty cool. For those who are born on a galactic activation portal, you can actually, you can kind of work with that. And that's what I've been doing for a while. And so, yeah, I'm just feeling the energy right now for 10 days in a row of straight galactic activation portal. And then on the 25th is actually what's called the Day Out of Time. And what that is sorry?
That's my birthday, the Day at a time. I'm a timeless person. Yes.
Well, congratulations. It's going to be pretty intense.
And
so yeah, it's everyone needs to plan something really awesome, and we all need to get a big party going for whatever it is that we're going to be setting our intent.
Well, actually, if you're interested, I just wanted to say to people, if they're interested in doing something on those days, if you get online and have a look around, you'll find that there are Day Out of Time celebrations happening all around the world. They've been going on for years. It's how I prefer to spend my birthday, is participating in one of these festivities. And they're a lot of fun, and the people who organise these things are very knowledgeable about the energies of the days and the energetic signatures of the days. And the activities tend to revolve around that. So they're a lot of fun. So have a look and see if there's a Day at a Time gathering in your area.
Definitely. If not, start one.
And if not, start one. That's right.
Yeah. Colin, what's your view of the effects of the sextile alignment right at the end of the month? What do you think energetically that will mean?
I've actually been, I wasn't aware of, that it was going to be like a merkabah effect, but I have actually been wondering about that for, since I got into astrology when, I found Santos Bonacci, and that's what really triggered my astrology, love for that. And I've been real big, and I've just been wondering. I was like, when am I going to see a perfect merkabah on the chart? When am I going to And I was like, is it even possible? But lately, it's been getting closer and closer to an exact merkabah pattern, which was pretty cool coincidence. I wasn't exactly sure, how that was going to play out. But from my perspective, I just honestly, my birthday was just on the 30th of June, and I mean, with the peak of the solar cycle being literally, we're right smack in the middle of it. And I mean, I've been staring into the sun every single night, just staring straight at it. And I've been seeing some really cool stuff. I mean, I'm sure y'all have been hearing about the sunspots and everything on there. There's that big one, I think it's called 1785. And but literally 2 days ago, at the start of this galactic activation portal cycle, I was seeing at least several other spots that apparently aren't showing up on the on the online charts or whatever. I mean, they were clear as day. I could see several other spots, and then it was crazy. One of the spots was at like 2:00, and it started circling around towards the back of the sun, and it was leaving like a dark wake in its trail. It was insane. And then, sure enough, like it comes around the front again at like 7 o'clock down below. And so it was. I've been seeing these sunspots as I'm looking at it. I can see them with the naked eye. It's not because I'm going blind. I can assure you that. But yeah, and then I also saw another spot literally just start to form at about 12 o'clock noon on the sun. And it started moving. It got huge. I mean, it got like twice the size of this 1785 spot, and it took on like almost a perfect triangle shape. And it starts moving up, and it goes back around behind the sun again, and it goes up from the top. And I mean, I've never seen anything like that. And I've been staring at the sun for about a couple of months straight now, at least about 6 months. And I mean, I've never seen anything like that. So yeah, I'm doing huge things, and especially with all these galactic activation portals and the peak of the cycle, and everyone's birthdays seem to be right around this time as well. So I mean, the energy is just huge, and I mean, with all of our intent now picking up, I've been, we're all online, and we're seeing like everyone is coming together, like. People that have never heard of each other are just like becoming like best friends, like we've always been best friends somehow. And I mean, it's spreading. So people that are totally unaware, totally unawake, are literally, I'm noticing huge change in them as well. They have no idea what's going on. And it's really cool to actually, see through it and know exactly what's happening. So, I mean, that's just my perspective is, huge things are coming. We just got to, we've already got the intent set, and we've already got our plans going. And also right now, with Mercury retrograde is, that's why there's probably some confusion, a little bit of tension here, especially among those unawake. They have no idea what's going on, and they're just feeling overwhelmed and all of that. But it's just Mercury retrograde. It's no thing. And so, yeah, we've already got our plans going. We've got the intent set, and it's just going to play out. So I'm really excited. I just wanted to, put that out there.
Colin, that was great information. And you're obviously at a point where you can stare directly at the sun at its highest during the day.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I do it, at sunset roughly. It's safe to do it. I do it starting roughly about an hour before it sets completely, and I'll stare straight for that hour straight, just full on, and it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it's literally, my vision becomes so clear. My peace of mind literally just becomes so calm. It just relaxes my body.
Now, you said before that you'd spotted some sunspots during the middle of the day. Were you observing them through dark glass or something?
No. I don't use sunglasses. I just stand out on my front yard.
Yeah. Were you actually observing sunspots during the middle of the day, though? Because that's the way I interpreted what you said. Maybe I just misread what you said.
Well,
You
not
observe.
during the
These are all observations. These are all observations early in the morning or late in the evening.
Yes, correct. When it's deemed safe to actually gaze at the sun. But
Indeed.
I can actually do it midday if I want to, but the way I do that is I sit beside the pool and I look at the reflection of the sun in the water, and that is actually really well because the ripples of the water creates a pulsation of the light that goes into the eyes, and it's a really cool effect that it does. So,
I really like that idea. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, that sounds
I don't
good.
recommend one because obviously, it's really bright during the peak hours of the day, so I don't recommend it. And one time I did actually try that when the sun was really high up, and I was like, oh, well, I can do it anyways. I did actually get some burn in, and it lasted for about a week. It kind of worried me at first, but then I just decided, you know what, it'll go away. And so I kept staring at the sun anyways, but the way I did it then while I had the flash burn was I just closed my eyes and let it absorb through the eyelids, and I absorbed the flash burn in that way into absorb in, and it disappeared within about a week, and I was like, oh, okay, and then my vision got better than it's ever been. So again, I don't recommend it.
Yeah, well,
thanks,
Lisa. Yeah, Lisa, you're a bit of a sun gazer.
I am, but I haven't been doing it very, very much lately. I got out of my routine, which I need to get back into. Because I really enjoy it.
And make sure that you're either bare feet on either the earth. It's got to be on either dirt or rocks or some kind of minerals or sand. Preferably not grass. Grass is okay, but preferably on direct mineral contact. And that's while you're staring at it, and then also walking on earth, either soil, rocks, whatever you can find. Wet rocks, wet soil, that's the best because you get the most negative ions through the earth that way. And so that's just what I wanted to put out there. I just want to say, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. It was cool talking to you guys.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks.
Definitely.
Excuse me. Okay, we've only got 12 minutes left. It's gone really quickly today. Do we have any announcements before we take another caller? We do have... There's been another addition to the IU complex called Nova Earth News to bring up. I'll just put the link in the chat room for you all. It's iuv.com/Nova-Earth-News. And go and check it out. What about you, Chris? You got any more updates?
That's it for me for the moment. Just we've spoken about the show on Monday, and so that word is definitely out there. I'll just check my IMs here just to see if there's anything.
Well, while you're doing that,
just one thing. There's going to be we're going to have a bit of an Australian session on the Enjoy show tomorrow with Judy and hopefully Brian. And it will be hopefully a hilarious session, mate.
Nice. Oh, Chris, you're coming on tomorrow. Awesome.
I think so.
That was going to be my announcement to come on the Enjoy show with Judy and myself. I actually got to jump now, guys. It looks like we're about to serve dinner here. So all my love to everybody listening and everybody in the chat, and all my co-hosts, Chris, Lisa, Bob, love you guys. And
take care, brother.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I really appreciate all the love and support. Have a wonderful night. Talk to y'all later.
Okay. Kiss the family for us.
Will do.
Okay. Bye. Okay. We have area code 703. 703? No. Okay. Area code 575.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Mano, and I just was with thinking about the guy who was saying that he was trying to help other people, and there are two books I think that might be helpful, and I don't know if you guys are into it. It's Paul Selig's I Am the Word and the Book of Love and Creation. It's a channeled work, and they tell you they're kind of fun, and they're the energies that say you can see your reality, like your sense of fear, your fear or whatever. You just say I am word to seeing this, and you can raise your vibration, and then you can do it through seeing other people. Like I am word to the person I see before me. I'm even though in our three-dimensional reality we have these separation. Yeah, we just acknowledge that they are an aspect of God. Am I making sense to you guys?
We are all eternal essence, in other words.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a way of maybe realizing that even though you have emotional and judgments and everything else, you can see beyond that. I don't know what I'm even saying. I'm just saying that.
Well, you're saying it well.
But I think that might be helpful to that person, who is trying to help people outside themselves. And by the way, I think you guys are so great. I think you're amazing. You know what? I'm old. I'm 73 years old, and I think you're fabulous.
Well, thank you for that. There's nothing old about you.
Yeah,
huh?
73 years young, Mano.
There's nothing old about you.
I don't have any thing, but I relate to you guys, and I think that I like the fact that you're just navigating your reality. Just navigating your reality and finding out what's next and what's up. But I think Paul Selig may be helpful to this guy. I don't know what his name.
You're still listening? Paul Selig. Look him up online. Yeah, there's quite a few videos of him too.
Yeah, he does. Are you familiar with him?
I do know him. Yeah. Know of him. Yeah.
I think, it may or may not work. We just have to, I think, navigate in various ways, okay? Because we come into separation, and then we, you know what I mean? And then we are, whatever. But it's all, as we said, illusion. But thank you.
I like the way you put it, though, navigating our reality. It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. And thank you, guys. I think you're fabulous, and you're young. That's amazing.
Well, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Me too.
Okay. Cheers to you.
Okay.
Thank
cheers,
you
Mano.
For Bye. Okay. She's great, and she's not the only 72-year-old in the audience.
Yeah, I was observing a 95, 96-year-old veteran speaking on TV a couple of weeks back, and I was gobsmacked by how with it this gentleman was. He was fantastic. So it's, these things are possible, and they should be more possible as time goes on.
Yes. Area code 724.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
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 I'm outside. It's a little stormy here, but I have to enjoy the rain.
What is your name? Oh, we are losing you, darling.
Uh-oh. Another location. I think there's a lot of electromagnetism.
Yes.
Hello. Am I right there?
No, we're sort of losing you there. Okay. Area code 303. I'm sorry, I'm getting an energy rush right now.
Hello, this is you from Boulder.
Hey, you.
Hey, everybody, yes. And Brian and his family are having their dinner. One thing I wanted to call in about this evening, and perhaps another evening would do it more justice, but the fellow who was talking about staring at the sun, there's another term used, sun gazing, which those of us who are doing it know about it. And I'm up to the 20-minute mark right now. I actually did it about 5 or 6 years ago and reached the 30-some minute. But there is the man who has popularized it the most, and I'm just talking to the choir for those of you who already know about sun gazing, but HRM, M as in Michael, phenomenon is a good thing to Google if people want to get to some websites where it's explained. It's a protocol which he brought forward. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a great project sometime I'd love to speak with you all about and the listeners. It's called it's the acronym SAFE, S-A-F-E, project, and it's Solar Activation for Excellence. And it's a project that I can envision seeing all over the world where the temperate climates are, where there's cold weather and people want to continue doing this protocol, which is essentially you begin at 10 seconds the first day, which is either within the first hour right after sunrise or the last hour before sunset, as the young man was talking about. That's the safe time when you're, excuse me, when you're not going to harm your eyes. And you add 10 seconds every day, as long as the sun is shining and there's no cloud. And then you stand barefoot, as he said, and preferably on sand or dirt, and not on cement or brick or grass. I'm sorry.
Okay, you?
I'll finish it off when I call back again sometime. But there's also a video which I ordered called "Eat the Sun," and it was
that's
made.
A brilliant film.
Yeah, it's a brilliant film, and the interviews are fabulous at the end of it with all the different people. Of course, the film is great, and it follows Mason, which you know about, Lisa, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's just, I'm saying to anyone who's listening that there's some amazing benefits that are coming, and I'm starting to notice the lessening of hunger in my own life right now. But there are many, many wonderful benefits that come from doing this as it enters the retina, travels through the hypothalamic pathway, all back into the center of your brain, and good things happen. So,
yeah, if anybody's interested,
way.
just do a Google search for sun gazing or for HRM, and there's a lot of information out there. Have a look at the documentary, Eat the Sun. I can vouch for improved vision, less hunger, sense of well-being, the need to, or less of a need for sleep. I mean, all sorts of things. But we're down now to, what have we got? 60 seconds.
Thank you.
So thank you,
love,
for calling in.
Love to you all.
And right back at you, love.
Thank you.
So it's time for our goodbyes. Again, all of our thoughts are with Brian and his family and his grandmother right now. And thank him. I actually thank him for taking the time to join us as much as he did today.
Yeah.
And thank you to Bob and Chris.
And thank you to the listeners for navigating this reality with us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been a great
really
trip.
nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
And thank you to everybody in the chat room. You guys rock, as always. You really do. we will see you tomorrow for the Enjoy Show with Brian and Judy, and Chris will be a guest along with several other Australians on that show. And look out for, again, Chris and Scott's new show on Sunday night, Monday morning. And we've got Bob and Julian in the morning. Sorry. What day is it, Bob?
Saturday.
Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Yep.
Okay. Bye for now, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
See you next time.